This could be the big news that everyone has been waiting for regarding NIO Factory. Before I go into the details, please like this video and share it with your favorite NIO social media channel so that everyone knows about it. And then also please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit this little notification button that you get a notification whenever I post a new video. So let's dive straight into it, and today we saw some news around Hefei government making a new agreement, a cooperation agreement with NIO. So this is official news. There has been a signing ceremony, and the Hefei government is the local government in China that has invested in NIO, basically bailed them out when they were running out of cash. And then later, when NIO recovered, they actually bought back some of the stake of the local government and increased their share ownership once again. So Li Bin, the CEO and founder of NIO, wanted to reduce the stake of the local government in NIO, but now it seems like this local government has some important role regarding the new expansion works of NIO. So there has been lots of rumors and talk about how can NIO actually increase their capacity and build more cars, and we have seen some rumors floating around about NIO actually bidding for land and building their own factory. But now with the news today, here are my views on how I think NIO will actually improve the capacity. So first of all, today's partnership with NIO and JAC has a capacity of around 150,000 cars when the production is ramped up entirely. So NIO needs some new partners or their own factory facilities in order to build on top of that capacity. And also this agreement either needs to be renegotiated in the future or extended. So it is of course necessary for NIO to find new options. And the first one is actually that I think JAC and NIO are going to increase the capacity to 300,000, so actually doubling that by also, and this is I think where the bidding rumors are coming in, increasing the size of the current factory with JAC and NIO continuing this partnership model. So this year in 2021, the capacity of the current factory should be enough, and then from next year on, they possibly double down on this JAC NIO partnership, and then today's agreement actually comes into place in my point of view, because what we can see from this cooperation agreement is that the government is using the profits that they have made from investing in NIO and actually investing that in a new industrial park. And in China, industrial parks are quite everywhere in larger cities, usually built by the local government, and are clusters where lots of industry is gathering around. And in this case, it seems like this will be all built around the needs of NIO. So having a full supply chain of R&D, of suppliers, of manufacturing facilities. And the cooperation agreement didn't explicitly talk about building a new factory, so this is all just speculation. But I think given the scope mentioned in this cooperation agreement, it's so likely that the government is actually building a new car manufacturing facility here that will be actually operated and managed by NIO. And that's once again the similar model as JAC and NIO, so that NIO is not really directly the one building the plant and not the owner of the plant, but they are essentially the one managing it. It's the NIO team inside of the factory doing all of the operational work, all of the efficiency increases and so on are made by the NIO team. There's also possibly a straight management of how the factory layout is going to look like and everything like that. But NIO will just focus on their core skill set and not actually building and owning the plant. Now, if the local government is actually going to build that plant, I think that will possibly double the capacity once again for NIO, so maybe enabling 500 to 600,000 manufacturing capacity for NIO annually. And this would be just the next step for 2022, 2023. And in this model, which is essentially kind of state capitalism, I think NIO would benefit from the fact that somebody else is actually investing the money for it. So it's lean for NIO. They don't have to use some of the cash balance, although they have a nice cash balance now with 6.5 billion roughly in my point of view. But they don't have to tap into those resources, can spend it elsewhere on marketing, on global expansion and so on. And instead, the government will build those facilities, and NIO can actually still make the improvements on ramping capacity, thereby also having increased better margins and so on. So I'm actually not worried about the margin implications of that. For instance, now NIO is close to 20% of vehicle margin. And if we compare that to Tesla's latest vehicle margin reported, which was around 24%, that isn't too far off, although NIO is not actually owning the factory itself. So I can live with a slightly smaller margin, for instance, than Tesla, and still think that this would actually benefit NIO's profitability in a sense that they don't have to spend a capital expenditure of building the factory. And then finally, aligned with that, two moonshots. The first one is maybe NIO is actually with that aiming and getting ready for a local listing, a star market IPO in China, so the Chinese stock exchange in China, in Shanghai, where they could actually also start and list and raise RMB funds additionally. And one of the major issue points to get listed there is actually to be profitable. And I think with this plan that NIO is actually not spending the money for the building up of the factory, NIO has a leaner business model and thereby maybe earlier show profitability. So this is good for the books of NIO as a business. And the second moonshot is that what if NIO is going to bring the same manufacturing model overseas? For instance, we now see more speculation around NIO going to Europe, NIO going to the US. What if they don't just export the cars, or maybe in a second step also take over a plant that is actually owned by somebody else, but NIO will be bringing in their management teams and their operational teams that will actually build the cars according to their needs, and thereby they could maybe take up some of the empty resources overseas, maybe some empty plants in Europe or in the US if they are available for such a model. Okay, to sum this up, lots of speculation here, but for me these are strong indicators that this is the NIO model because it actually fits to what I'm seeing, how NIO has built a business model and how NIO is actually moving, and also with the stake of the Hefei local agreement deal in NIO as a company. I think it just makes a lot of sense that also the government involvement here benefits NIO in a way that, well, even though they are a minority stakeholder now, they want to support NIO in the next plans of continuing increasing capacity and ramping their growth according to their growth targets. For now, let's take this with a pinch of salt because there is no official news about that this cooperation agreement is actually involving building a plant. Once again, my take is that it is very likely that it's going to happen in this cooperation agreement, and that should actually have some hopefully positive implications on a stock price as well. As I'm recording this, NIO is actually a little bit down pre-market, which is surprising, but we've seen that yesterday NIO already made a bullish movement from $55 going up to $58, and now it's important that we can hopefully break the $58.30 mark and then possibly go higher from there, because that would be like the last resistance in this downward movement. Otherwise, NIO may actually fall back and go down even more further, maybe hopefully with the support around $45.60 here, but that's up to speculation. I think today's news might be actually the catalyst to hopefully break through this downward movement here. So let me know what you think about insights about this cooperation agreement down in the comments below. Once again, please smash the like button and share it with your friends, and then see you in the next one.